Good day, my name is Mangampat, and today I will be discussing the content of our research paper entitled To Publish and Flourish in Research Conferences, What's in It for the Business and Management Graduate Students and Academe. This paper is written by yours truly and Mr. Noel Murad. This is also a product of my integrated marketing communications campaign for my graduate studies, and I am very much happy to share with you the content of our paper. For the presentation, I will be discussing the introduction, theoretical and conceptual frameworks, methodology, results, discussion, and recommendations. To start, let us define what academic journals are. Academic journals are peer-reviewed scholarly research and manuscripts published by an institution or organization. These journals contribute to the advancement of knowledge and studies of many different fields and serve as platforms for communicating new ideas, concepts, and breakthroughs. They provide an avenue for academic discussions wherein other researchers may validate, support, or debunk one's theory or study. Academic conferences are gatherings of researchers. Through conferences, researchers get to share valuable information from their studies, learn from other researchers, and network with each other. But the global pandemic disrupted conferences all over the world. Because of this, conferences were prompted to embrace online innovations and practices. Research conferences are a huge part of any scholar's life, in the same way that conference attendance also plays an important role in any journal to prosper. With this, the proponents aim to identify which factors affect the intention of researchers in attending conferences. So, to assess the factors that influence the intention of individuals, particularly those in the higher education system, to attend research conferences, the theory of planned behavior model was used as the framework. This theory suggests that an individual's intention to perform certain tasks or behaviors can be determined through understanding the following determinants: attitude toward the behavior, subjective norms, and perceived behavioral control. Attitude refers to a person's positive or negative judgment or feeling towards performing a behavior. This means that performing a behavior is determined by the consequence it entails. In the context of research conferences, attitudes pertain to whether attending a conference or not has its advantages. Therefore, the researchers hypothesize that attitude significantly affects the intention to attend research conferences. Subjective norms refer to the approval or disapproval of other people towards a person doing a certain task or illustrating a certain behavior. It is that social pressure or influence that determines whether or not to perform a behavior. In the context of research conferences, the subjective norms refer to whether attending a conference will be perceived as an advantage by other people. Therefore, the researchers hypothesize that subjective norms significantly affect the intention to attend research conferences. Lastly, perceived behavioral control refers to the ability of an individual to perform a behavior. This can entail that a person's capacity to perform a behavior is based on their skill and the resources needed. In the context of research conferences, perceived behavioral control refers to an individual's capacity to attend research conferences. Therefore, the researchers hypothesize that perceived behavioral control significantly affects the intention to attend research conferences. For the methodology, the proponents of this study utilize a descriptive quantitative survey questionnaire in order to assess the factors that influence the intention of individuals, particularly those in the higher education system, to attend research conferences. There were a total of 161 participants who took part in a survey conducted for this study, which was distributed online through Google Forms. Most of the questions were geared towards understanding the correlation between attitude, subjective norms, and perceived behavioral control with the intention to attend research conferences. For the results, it is worthy to note that only one construct based on the TPV model, which is attitude towards research conferences, is significantly related to the intention to attend conferences, with a p-value of 0.00. This finding is aligned with the results of Wei et al. And Krupat et al. That the attitude is a significant predictor of conducting research and pursuing a career in research, respectively. Therefore, attitude significantly affects the intention to attend research conferences is accepted. On the other hand, subjective norms express a p-value of 0.708. Hence, it is not statistically significant. This is a surprising result as this is contrary to the findings of both Wei et al. And Krupat et al. That normative pressure, especially from academic mentors, would propel individuals to conduct research and pursue a career in the research respectively. Therefore, hypothesis number two, subjective norms significantly affect the intention to attend research conferences, is rejected. Moreover, perceived behavioral control with a p-value of 0.668 is also not statistically significant. This finding is aligned with the results of Wei et al. That perceived behavioral control did not have a significant influence on the intention of graduate students to conduct team research. Therefore, hypothesis number three, perceived behavioral control significantly affects the intention to attend research conferences, is also rejected. The results from the TPB analysis suggest that subjective norms and perceived behavioral control are not significant determinants of the intention to attend research conferences. This means that the respondents' social pressure from friends, families, or colleagues in attending research conferences do not necessarily influence or affect the intention of respondents to attend conferences. The same goes for perceived behavioral control. Regardless of the circumstances and preparedness of the participants, this would not necessarily affect their intention to attend or participate in a conference. The findings of this study revealed that attitude was significant in the intention to attend research conferences. This supports the findings of Scotland et al., Wei et al., and Krupat et al. In this regard, persuading the target market of the benefits of attending and participating in research conferences and journal publications should be the most important consideration when conference organizers communicate with the target market. More specifically, highlighting that research conference attendance will, number one, help advance researchers, graduate students, and scholars' academic careers, provide a platform where they can hone their research skills, and have a wider network in the business and management field. Academic institutions that serve as conference partners should continue reinforcing a positive attitude towards research among their faculty and student body, and incentivize participation to increase the number of participants who attend research conferences to present their study findings as suggested by Krupat et al. For the recommendations, the proponents recommend the following strategies that research conferences may look into to increase the attendance of their participants. Number one is to reiterate the importance of publishing in journals or conference proceedings, especially now that it is already mandated by the Commission on Higher Education through its Memorandum Number 15. Number two is to showcase the many advantages and benefits of participating, presenting, and publishing in an academic journal or conference proceeding through visual posts and video content containing information and processes of conference or journal submissions and participation, and testimonials from previous attendees who have personally benefited in their academic careers from their participation. Therefore, conference organizers can use these results for future conferences to highlight the ease of presenting and publishing research in conference proceedings and journals, as well as to forward the academic recognition that comes from peers and colleagues in contributing to the scholarly literature. Aside from plenary talks and parallel sessions, the program of these virtual conferences could include research capacity building sessions to empower early career researchers, graduate students, and scholars. That's it for our presentation. Thank you, and may we all publish and flourish.